Boys, welcome back. Hi, Thumos. Man, listen to this, dude. Think about the introduction of pictures and film. I mean, you're watching a YouTube video right now. This is insane. I live in Ohio. You're looking into my apartment. There's a plant there. You see the plant. You see the beam. You see me. You see my eyes. And it's amazing what impact this has done since it's been around. Okay, pictures, film, media, TV. And I think that the introduction of these things has given us the ability to look at an experience, because you're seeing an experience right here. I'm experiencing this. You see my experience. When you look at a picture, when you look at a girl on Instagram, popping out that booty, you're seeing her experience. And so you're observing this experience of another individual or a part of the world, a picture of a national park, and you're seeing that thing, or a movie, and you see these actors doing this thing they're experiencing. And yet you don't really understand that experience. So what are the implications? Well, if you look at the way that humans communicated and what our conversations were filled with, well, since the dawn of man, we've had stories, we've had metaphor. Before pictures, before film, media, there was you talking to your neighbor, you talking to the farmer. You were having a shared experience in the body of the community. You weren't seeing other experiences ever unless you decided to travel. The only experience that you had coming in was through the form of story and explanation about the experience. And so you would have to think. You would have to philosophize about the experience of another. You would have to have empathy and try to relate to that individual. And so we would tell stories. And so metaphor was a way to conjure up an image within your mind. It was a way to give your mind a story to think of. And what is a picture? A picture is worth 1,000 words. So we would relate to each other with stories and metaphor, conjuring up these pictures. And now we have all of these experiences. So I had to ask myself this question. I've been thinking about this. It popped in my head. I was like, man, what are the consequences of being in a society where we're overwhelmed with pictures? Well, it seems to me that there's a lack of conversation. There's a lack of understanding and wisdom within the individual, because he doesn't get the actual experience. He gets he gets a painting of someone else's experience. He sees things that he's not supposed to see. You wouldn't know what was going on in Ukraine 100, 200 years ago. Let's go back. You wouldn't know what these people are going through. And just because you pay attention to the media and now you know, and you feel sort of like you have to care. And I'm not saying for Ukraine, God bless them, but anything. You didn't know that there was a shooting happening in a state away from you. You had your community, you had your experience within that community, you had your weight in that community, the weight of the individual. You had yourself to look after and the people that you cared about. You didn't care for everything. And so now we have so many experiences, and you're so stretched to try to understand the world in a new way. But I don't think we're ready for this dynamic. I don't think the brain is not adapted for the installation of this mass amount of experience just shotgunned to your face every day. There's no way it could be. And so I believe it begins to whittle down your own individual psyche, your ego, how you view yourself and how you view the world. I think one of the things you could watch for in your own life, you're watching this video, what do you look out for? Well, listen, you got to be mindful of what you let into your headspace. What form enters the castle? What perimeter do you have set up, the palisades around the fortress? Like, is there something to guard the spirit that is going to enter your head when you take in all of these things? And we have to think about this, because if there is no protection, if there is no warrior class that guards the spirit of a people, then the people will divide and fall, and the nation will be weakened, and the gates will be open, and it will be conquered. And so you have to be cognizant of the spirit, the form, the thought form that takes over, because you don't want to leave it open where it will be manipulated. And this is something to be aware of. I have this idea that the world is set up in a way where if the individual is sort of asleep, he's a better consumer. The less that you have to source your own intelligence and your own ideas, if you can outsource them, it makes you more like everyone else. You're literally on the same wavelength. Okay, you're on that same exact wavelength. When you would watch a movie, you watch a film, you get the meat. You get an hour and a half, 2 hours. It seems like movies are getting longer these days, right? It's like 2 hours and 30 minutes for a movie. Jesus. You would watch the movie, you'd go to the cinema, you watch it at home. Okay, I just watched a movie, maybe I feel inspired. I watch Braveheart. Ooh, let's go, man. Ready for battle. Watch Fight Club, get pumped. Now, what's the progression of the movie? You have shows, dude. You got 8 seasons of bullshit. There's guys these days watching anime, watching shows on Netflix. Girls are watching shows. Bridgerton, Euphoria, whatever the hell these shows are called. There's all these seasons, and you're in there, dude. You're in there. You're experiencing it, but it's not your life. It's not your life. But you're in there. What does this do? So you got to ask the question, what does it do? These are valid questions you got to ask. So why draw it out? Why did they draw? Why is this so popular? Why are movies not as popular? The shows are what people want. Because you're there on your couch, you're experiencing it, but you're not living your life. You're consuming. It deadens the spirit. It puts things into the mind. And we just willingly let down the guard, Maybe we're living vicariously through these anime characters or these people in the shows, and there's so much filler bullshit, dude. I hate shows, man. I hate shows. It's hard to get invested in a show. Yeah, I've seen some good shows, okay? But I hate the idea of a show. Something you got to repeatedly watch from fake people doing fake stuff that's not real, that has no benefit for your life. Think about video games, dude. A video game was something you played the story, the campaign. You took away a story, maybe even a myth from that. Look at what WoW did, man. The introduction of the grind. Look at what online did to video gaming. Competitiveness against random people that you don't know. And it sucks you in. But again, it's an experience that is completely fake. Not even real. And the wokeness of modern video games, current video games, is just insane. So the messaging is again, you're constantly being shown a spirit, man. You're being shown you're on a wavelength. Your internal thoughts are always being sort of tuned. Who's doing it? I don't know. Who's responsible? I don't know. But it's there, and it's readily available. And do we just partake in these things without realizing the consequences of the consumption of these entertainment pieces? So, the games got longer, and then you go online, and then you grind it out, and you get your rank up, and blah, blah, blah. But what does that give you? And, I haven't played video games for a while now. I haven't listened to music for a while now. Actually, in my headphones at the gym, I don't listen to music anymore. I noticed this. I don't have to force myself to walk anymore. Walking isn't a chore. Walking is a gift. Walking is a great thing that I like to do. It is something that I look forward to. I look forward to basking in that sun. I look forward to how, the thoughts that are going to come on when I hit like 8 miles, dude. I just, like, I'm in flow. It's amazing. But when I was playing video games, listening to music, it was like I'm overstimulated. Things become boring because life is boring, unless you can find the enjoyment with the present and doing things that are difficult, jiu-jitsu and like going for a walk and working out, lifting weights. It's like all boring stuff. Having conversation is often awkward at first. Reading a book is often boring at first until you grab the story, until you get immersed within the story, and then that it begins to, hopefully it's a good story, or it's an idea. You get ideas and you're able to think about them and come up with something of your own idea, your own philosophy. So, yeah, man, I mean, cutting out the music, cutting out that stuff has been really good. The shows, not letting myself just anything that looks cool. There's almost too much fascination. There's too much amusement. There's too much to be curious about. And that's all I have to tell you guys. I just want to make this video. I've been thinking about this. I want you maybe to tell me what your ideas are on this. But the introduction of pictures and film and media it's played such a shift in our consciousness. And I think we have to be aware of these kind of things. All right? Hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.